Okay. Here's the factor these, okay? For the quiz. Now, we've worked this out. A plus quantity B squared, just using the distributive law, gives us this. If you don't see that, write it out using the distributive law. Make sure you can always do that. Every time you forget what this formula is for A plus B squared, write out the distributive law and remind yourself. Pretty soon you'll know, okay? And A plus B times A minus B is A squared minus B squared. You should understand why that is. Write it out with the distributive law. If you ever forget it, write this out and see what the distributive law gives you. Okay? Now you need to recognize when you have this form or this form because it makes factoring much easier. So let's start with this. What can be factored out of this? Well, certainly we can factor out a 4. Because 4 divides 4 divides 12, 12 divides 16. 4 divides each one of these numbers. So we can write a 4 out here. Then we're going to put what's left inside the parentheses. What else divides every one of these? Well, x. Okay. Now x times what? 4x times what gives us 4x cubed? Well, I already got the 4. We need a couple more x's. That's going to be x squared. This is going to be 16x. This is going to be 12. And that should be second nature. That should be something we immediately see, having worked the assignment on factor monomials. Okay. And if you've done that assignment, don't remember how to factor monomials, go back for practice. It should be open for practice and do it. Okay. Or if you did really badly on it, go to the half credit page and see if you can improve your score. Now, we have this. So now what about this? Well, it's wrong because I was looking at the powers on x and talking at the same time. No excuse. 4 goes into 16 4 times. 4 goes into 12 3 times. So I pretended to make that mistake because if you multiply this out with what I just had, it would not have given you this. You check this, make sure you've done it right. You multiply 4x by x squared. Well, x times x squared is x cubed. You multiply 4x by 4x. X times x is x squared, and 4 times 4 is 16. And you multiply by 3. Well, 3 times 4x is clearly 12x. Now you look at this. Now that's easy to factor. Okay. And it doesn't involve the special products because this doesn't come out as a square. Okay. And it's not going to satisfy this because if we try to factor x squared plus 4x plus 3 using this, well, b would be the square root of 3 and a would be x. If you square x plus the square root of 3, you get 2 square root of 3 in front of x, you don't get 4. Okay. Now let's do one very similar. That's going to package 4x squared times x squared plus 4x plus 4. Okay. Now, this is of this form. This is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, where a equals x and b equals 2. B squared is 4. Okay. Then 2ab is 4x. So now we can factor this as 4x squared times the quantity x plus 2 squared. Because a squared plus 2ab plus b squared is the square of a plus b. Now, the homework gives you many, many examples of this, or at least many examples. Many would exceed 100. Okay, but many is, between 10 and 20. Okay, so we do that. Okay, this one. I made a mistake when I wrote this one down. Really should have been 200 here. Okay, apparently I'm not firing on all cylinders yet this morning. I apologize for that, but there we go. Okay, numbers are going to be similar. Okay, now if we factor out here, 8 divides 200. Okay, you might have to use a calculator to do that, but you're going to get 8 times x squared y to the 4th minus 25y squared. Because 8 times 25 is 200. If you have 8 quarters, you have $2. Okay. Is there anything else that factors? Well, that y squared. Y squared is a factor of this, and y squared, of course, is here. And you get 8y squared times x squared y squared minus 25. Now, anytime you see the difference of two things, you can say, well, is this of the form a squared minus b squared with convenient a and b? When I had 100 here, it wasn't that convenient. Okay, this is going to be more convenient. Well, a would be xy, because if you square xy, you get x squared plus y squared. And b would equal 5. So you have 8y squared multiplied by xy plus 5 times xy minus 5. Of course, a squared minus b squared is 8 plus b times a minus b from your special product. So if this is a perfect square and this is a perfect square, apply this. There it is. Okay. Again, homework should prepare you for that. Okay, everybody did the homework, got it all right. Now, I've commented on homework, and I'm going to continue to comment probably for the rest of this week, that the way to do the homework is not to sit there with an example and all the formulas in front of you. It's to wean yourself from those things so you can do it without having all those things in front of you. Because, of course, when you have a test, you're not going to have them in front of you. Okay. So, on the first couple of problems, or the first few, depending on the length of the assignment, you're going to have videos. And you're probably going to have everything in front of you. You're going to work it out. You're going to see how everything fits together. As soon as you see one without a video, put all that stuff away. Don't look at it. See if you can do the problem. If you can't, I'll go back and take a look at whatever you need to see. If you do that on every problem, pretty soon you won't need to be looking back. Okay? Down. Have a page in your notebook or a series of pages where you can write out a summary of what you were thinking. What do you have to think in order to solve these problems? Okay? If you write it out, your thinking will get clearer, and you'll also have a great reference when you try to prepare for an exam. Okay? And you can write some formulas there too, but the main thing is write a narrative. What do you have to think? What do you have to do to use the formulas? You can write the formulas, but you forget how to use them. And if all you review is the formulas before the test, you won't have anything there that tells you how to use them. Okay? Tell yourself how to use those formulas because you're probably going to need to be reminded later. If it's something you haven't done a bunch of times. Okay? Now, in many of the skills you pick up, you keep using them throughout the course and you won't really need to review them. Okay? But you will need to probably review how to put them all together to do certain problems. So make those notes. Doesn't take long. Take it 20% longer to do your homework. Okay? It is well worth it. Again, the goal of the homework is not to get the points, although you do want to get the points. Okay? You easily make a B in the course if you ace all the tests and not do any homework. Okay? I don't think many people would ace the test after not doing any of the homework. Use the homework as a source from which to learn. And document what you do for yourself so that you can use it later when you have to do it on a test. Okay? That makes sense? I really recommend you do that. And if you do, then you'd be more than welcome to include that. And it's not required. Okay? But you'd be more than welcome to include that with the other pages you upload. Okay? And if you do, then I can comment on that. Does that make sense? So think about that. That's my best advice right now for how to be successful in pretty much any math course. If you include that, then I'll give you constructive criticism. I'll tell you, this is good, this is good. Did you think about this? Maybe, stuff like that. Okay? Think about it and write out your thinking. Okay. Okay, well, we're going to move on because everybody that did the assignment got it all right. If you haven't done it, do it. If you don't get it all right, we'll try to address it. And everything's out of order here. Got to take a quick look at what's coming up. Okay. Now, hopefully, your factoring is at least decent enough to simplify a couple of expressions. Okay. So let's take a couple of expressions. Let's take you factor the numerator and factor the denominator. We refer to it